Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to another lovely Friday morning.
I'm so happy it's Friday.
We are so happy it's
I'm so
Friday.
happy it's Friday.
And we are very happy to be able to spend every Friday morning with you because we love sharing information with you and on how to get better at your careers and how to enjoy your life. Hi, my name is Adrian and I'm the founder of Career Agility International. And as always, Yen is with me.
Hi, everyone. And I'm just looking forward to next week because we have a public holiday coming up.
Smack in the middle of the week.
Selamat Hari Raya to all our Muslim friends. I can't wait.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm not gonna question a public holiday. If you're gonna give it to me, I'm not gonna complain about it. But we're really happy to be here today. In fact, we're happy to be here every other week.
We took Friday off last week.
Yes, correct.
Because it was a public holiday too.
Yes, and May the 1st is another public holiday coming up.
I can't wait.
Very funny. My daughter was asking me the other day, and she said, as a student, we look forward to the exams, look forward to school holidays.
You're kidding? Exams?
I mean,
Your daughter loves exams?
Okay, not really, but I mean, there's something to look to and end over, but hop over. But she said, when you start work, what's there to look towards?
Public holidays.
Public holidays. We just look forward to public
Weekends.
holidays and weekends, and your annual leave.
I don't know. I think it requires a little bit of arranging, and sometimes I don't know about you, but my vacations feel like I need to recover from, and so I don't know. I've reached an age where I'm just thinking a good vacation is when I can just stay at home and not do anything and stay in your pajamas the whole day.
I know what you mean.
I don't know. I mean, there are people who look forward to going on vacation and doing things. I'm just looking forward to doing my best impression of a mushroom.
Which is what? Lie down.
Yeah, no, just stay still. Yeah, and eat
bullshit.
eat decomposing things.
Yes, feed on bullshit, which is also known as TikTok.
I was just thinking about like potato chips and fries
okay.
and junk food. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Anyway.
It's nice. So
Let's get back to work.
So anyway, today we're going to talk about some interesting Ask Me Anything questions, and over the course of the year, it's been an interesting year for us this year. Okay, the first quarter is
It hasn't
past.
started. It barely finished.
No, it's the first quarter is past.
Okay, it's like the way you said it, it made it
I
sound...
said so far. I said
Okay.
so far. So far, it's been interesting. And we have lots of fun stuff coming up. And you will be surprised over what some of the new products we're going to launch into the market in the next quarter is going to look like.
Are you going to be surprised though?
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it.
Not really, but
No,
it'll be fun.
we have some very, very exciting. I don't know if you're. Yeah, I mean it's going to be very exciting.
It is
because we have a very nifty tool that's going to be launched very soon.
Yes, and what we want to share with you today is that besides the sneak mention of the tool, what we want to share with you is over the past couple of weeks we've been getting very interesting questions, career questions, which I thought you might be interested to find out a bit more about, and how we go about giving advice regarding this. So it's an ask us anything scenario.
Yeah, the year started very rocky for all of us. The market's been very unforgiving. There's been a lot of bad news, and we've had a lot of individuals reach out with questions again around some challenging situations. So for today, we have 5 that we'd like to go into a little bit more detail about. These are just generic, disparate questions. There's no theme around them, but I think they're very common, and so we want to address each of these questions because we want you to know how to handle it if you're going through the same thing.
Good. And interestingly, a lot of questions revolve around the same themes.
It's mostly job search related, but job search isn't all that's not as straightforward as it used to be. I mean, if you're following us, then you're the right target audience because then you're a mid-career professional, you're fairly senior. Job search is a little bit more challenging than it used to be. So you're wondering, what am I doing differently than when I did in the past when I was younger and looking for work? So the elements of job search is a lot of what we're going to be covering today.
Yes. So on to the first question that we have.
Let's go. Are you having the thing?
I thought you were having a question. No. You can ask.
I thought you were going to put it out onto the.
No, we're not doing that today because the questions are way too long. But let me ask the questions, okay? So the first question is this that we've gotten. My hiring manager has asked me to prepare a case study. How far should I go? So this is quite common, especially for senior leadership roles, when as part of the process, you are asked to do a case study. And then they say, we'll get our board or we'll get the leadership team to sit in for your case study. Okay. And then we'll evaluate you based on that case study.
Yeah.
So the big question is, no matter how far you should go, should we do it in the first place?
The answer is yes. Because if you don't do it, then you are effectively saying, I don't want to progress myself to the next
Yeah,
level.
but what if it's a competitor?
You should prepare the case study anyway, because your job is to prove your competency. Your job is to show them, demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. Because there are a lot of very well-trained interviewees who say the right things and sing the best songs, and then the interviewer falls in love with a candidate who just does a lot of talking but has no substance. So the case study is important because you have to demonstrate your substance.
No, but the case study also shows that you're good at talking and presenting. No, it doesn't show that you can
Oh,
do the
no,
work.
that's not true. Case studies require logic, analysis, concise method of presenting your ideas.
Okay.
It's a very different. It's very different than just having a chat. Because there are those of us who are very good at having chats, and we all know that the interview is really just another chat. We're like, let's have a chat.
True.
No, tell me about
True.
this, tell me about that. And then because you are well read and you have lots of ideas, then you sound really good during the interview. But where's the substance? So then the case study is the one that helps me see you in the more tangible way, looking for the facts.
But the point is, if they gave you a case study like a McKinsey case study, a BCG case study, and asked you to do that, that takes a hell of time. Okay, that's one thing. But if they give you a simple case study, okay, that's another thing that's okay, you can do it. Sometimes the interviewers will ask you, based on your own business right now, write a case study, or based on my business,
No.
from what you understand from my business.
That one, yes.
Can you write a case study on my business?
Can.
And if it's a competitor, you're basically going to critique and give them ideas about how
Yeah.
we can fix the business.
And I will
Will you do that?
put it out there. I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be very unpopular, because interviewees always think they have the answers to the universe, and they think that the company that's hiring them is going to try to steal their ideas, as if the company or the people in there are not smart enough to already be
Sometimes they are.
sleeping.
Sometimes they are.
It doesn't matter. But the point is that the fact that they've succeeded and survived for this long doing the business, there's nothing that you as an interviewee can tell me that I haven't already thought about. Seriously, 99.9% of the time. And so, I mean, the self-obsession, the esteem, oh my
don't know.
God, the ego to think that, oh, the company is wanting me to do this extra work because they want to steal my ideas. Come on. Are there any more seriously original thought in this world? I mean, we've got AI and we've got, and so when you said, oh, it takes a lot of work, well, no, because we've got ChatGPT to help us with
No,
gathering
if
the
you're
information and
going to get a
research.
ChatGPT response presentation, I think you're not going to get the job.
Well, if you're stupid enough to take it lock, stock, and barrel.
True.
But what I'm trying to say is that it used to take a lot of time, because you would have to then do some research on your own and to figure out the company. So let's say the case study question is based on what you know about us. Give us a specific idea about one specific product, about one specific market, for example, because that's a good question.
That's a good question.
I mean, if you are going to give me something that's overly large and macro, then whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so based on one question, and you want to tackle the case study, what's the first step? You got to do the research, and that's the part that takes up the time. So you've got AI to help you do the research. Use AI to help you do the research. Then you don't have to wade through like reams and reams of Google results.
But once again, okay, I don't know. I mean, I see a point of view. I would have my reservations if a competitor calls me out in the first place, okay, to join them. I think that's fine. You call me up and you asking me for ideas. I can't help. I know you say that I wouldn't own the monopoly on all the best ideas, and I'm gonna enlighten you, right? That's what you're saying. But there are things which could spill out during the thing. So I would.
It's your job to make sure that you draw a very defined
I would
boundary.
be very careful about case studies pertaining to their business or your business, because it could be a fishing exercise.
Yeah, and the fishing exercise will probably catch a couple of ikan bilis and some anchovies. Seriously, it's not going to make a
I
big
don't know.
difference. I promise you, it really nothing you say, you will make a massive difference in the organization.
No, unless you go out and say, no, the biggest
decisions.
problem with your product is not the products, it's the leadership team. You should all be fired.
I guarantee you, they were going to usher you out the door and be like, "Thank you for your time."
Oh, you're hired.
I've had candidates in the past who went for an interview and said, "You're doing everything wrong. Hire me and I'll fix it for you." Not in those words, but the entire
get
interview.
hired?
Of course not. He didn't even get a call back. Right, so not even the next round.
You're trying to imagine under what circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you got to stem your sense of self-importance. It's just like pull it back just a little bit.
I don't know. Okay, but you know so the main question, the first question is, should you go for it? Should you do it? I think one answer is yeah. Okay.
My advice is to create a limited assumption pattern so that you can limit your argument within that scope. It's when you go too broad, too far, and then you go off on tangents, and then you've lost the plot. So it's when you take a complex argument and you define it properly, it will sound coherent, which is the thing I'm going to share. Seriously, you need, when you do any communication, please try to be coherent. Make sense, have a flow, have a logic.
What you talking about?
Follow
I don't
a
understand.
business model
Yeah.
if you have any, like a simple SWOT analysis, and if you know other business models, use them.
Actually, if you from our experience as headhunters, okay, whenever a client asks us to get our client to do a case study presentation, oftentimes they're not listening they're not listening to the content and everything. They just want to see how you respond and how you communicate. It's more a communication test than anything else, right? And also the thought flow, the logic and everything.
the analysis.
So what you say doesn't quite matter if you think about it. It's how you say it. So I would actually.
Why and how? Well, what? I mean, they're all important.
They're all important, lah. But it's not the content 100%.
There is a lot. There are nuances, isn't it?
Yeah.
That story you were talking about with the cabin crew, and they were all asked to do a 2-minute presentation about
yes.
themselves, and the interviewers were not really looking at the presenter; they were
Yeah.
looking at everyone else.
Yeah, whether you're being
Whether or
supportive
not they were supportive, and they put their pen down and being like fair, and so sometimes you're observing something a little bit more than what is obvious within the case study, and case studies can be very simple or can be very complex. It's as complex as the one where you have to, in fact, inhabit a character. So they give you a Harvard Business Review case study and say, it's a case study on nothing to do with the business or the industry. It's one of those generic ones where company A is integrating an acquisition.
Yeah.
And you're the CEO. Like, no, I'm applying for a finance director position. But you have to pretend to be the CEO. And those are the best case studies because those are the ones that are fair, that has got nothing to do with your work, where you're not going to be...
or your technical
you know,
knowledge, or lack
forced,
thereof.
Yeah, or you're being forced to reveal
Yeah.
anything confidential. But at the same time, you're going to be asked to go through some financials, some logic, some business, and we will see whether or not you have any actual business acumen. So those are the best cases.
Yeah.
And then you have to pretend to be the CEO and pretend you're in role play mode, and that scares a lot of people.
You know, for my experience, so my first job was in Shell, and I had a full day assessment center. And I remember that's one of the scenarios they put us through, because fresh graduate anyway, right? So lots of time. Was an in-tray exercise, they call it. So you've got like 10 emails coming in, okay? And they give you a scenario that basically you're managing the plant, and then there's a hurricane and just rip through it and everything. And then the emails were in the in-tray, and your bosses are all away on a business trip, and you'll be left in charge. How do you prioritize? So that was an
fun.
interesting case study.
Because
But
there's
it
no
wasn't a
right,
case
there's no
study,
right
yeah.
and wrong answer.
Yeah, so
It was a test.
and you were asked to prioritize 3 issues. What are the top 3 issues, and explain and justify. And there were 10 emails in there, and each of these 10 emails, there were 10 issues. So it was fun, it was interesting, and there was a trick to it though, because if you take a step back and you look at all the 10 issues, it actually boils down to 3 key issues. So if you could link up all the 10 into 3 and summarize it, bingo, the job is yours. figuratively.
know.
But
So
so they were testing on the ability to see big picture.
yes.
But that is only for a company like Shell. Some companies don't want. They got different angles.
Yes.
To it. So
Yeah.
you can't game the
just
system.
or sometimes they're just sadistic. because maybe it's a policy that was a legacy from a time
Some
gone by.
stupid,
They
ancient manual
never-
from the 70s.
They didn't,
Yeah.
change things
Yeah.
up, but rare. So we've digressed because we were just talking case study, and now we've broadened the evaluation of an interviewee, a candidate, to many other tools. So there are so many ways.
But the
you
point
can-
is that they are not just seeing the quality of your work. Okay, they're observing you as a person, communication.
Yeah.
I think so. The answer is, if you're asked to do a case study, by all means, go ahead, do it, prep it, but don't be too flustered over the details and everything. Okay, if you are having a situation like that with a job you really want, with a company you really want to join, come talk to us. We can help you. In fact, just 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, we were helping one of our clients to present a case study, and we actually helped to rejig all the slides because it was just different, not done correctly. So we do that as well. If you need help with that, come email us info@careeragility.org. We have our career clinics which we can help you as well, and also things like this will help you in interview process to increase your chances of landing the job.
I think a lot of organizations are finding better ways of evaluating candidates. And as Adrian said, you can't game the system. We all know that the interviewee will sing the right songs and will say the right things, and everyone's getting the right level of coaching
Yes.
to be able to be at their best,
Yes.
in an interview conversation. So companies are getting smarter
Yes.
because we want really to look for the right person and the right fit, and we're going to find ways to find that right person because talking is just not enough anymore. Yeah.
So bear that in mind and reach out to us if you have any questions about your interview process. But here's another interesting question, and this one came up from this one came up quite recently as well.
Yes.
It's do I give up my CV to any headhunter who asks me? And the straight answer to it is
No.
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 Your LinkedIn is there for a reason, unless they can articulate a case where a position and and they can tell you a lot more about it. Don't just float your CV out to them because it's private information.
Yeah. So your LinkedIn should have sufficient information in your profile to be able to get a decent conversation
Yes.
going. So if your LinkedIn is not ready or you are anti LinkedIn, then
Yeah, maybe you might
if a
have to-
recruiter calls you up and they say, "Hey, can you get me a
Yeah.
resume because
There's
your
nothing on
friend-
you online."
Your friend John says that you are in the market for a supply chain role, and I'm a headhunter in the supply chain space. Tell me more about you, right? So give me your resume. Then no choice because you have no presence on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn should be sufficient to give them enough for them to be able to tell you more about the role.
Yeah.
And the reason we want to not give them the resume ahead of time is because then you can tweak your resume to fit the role. So if there are specifics that the role requires, you can emphasize those points.
Sell.
And you can rethink the way you write your summary.
Yes.
So LinkedIn and your resume need to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there. I've seen a lot of LinkedIn profiles that need help.
In other words, cannot make it. Okay.
Please do.
Really cannot make it.
Please look at what you're putting out on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Sometimes you haven't touched it for a long time. Sometimes it was done for you because the company decided everyone needs a LinkedIn profile, so you put the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And if you put the bare minimum, sometimes it's more damaging than not having a profile at all.
Yeah.
There's no
it's
photo, the headline is
it's a
wrong,
matter of your-
everything's outdated.
Yeah,
It's very dangerous.
Your positioning, everything is important. So if you want to update your LinkedIn, once you can come talk to us, and we can help you from a third party point of view.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time, but we can help work with you because Yen's really good at that.
Then I'm going to say this as well. So LinkedIn for job search is very different again than the type of LinkedIn profile you'd have because you were using your LinkedIn to accelerate your career within an organization. And it's very different again if you're an entrepreneur. It's very different again if you were in the civil service. So that the content is really important because what I guess generic LinkedIn is going to tell you is put everything in it. No, you cannot put everything on LinkedIn. You don't want to put everything on LinkedIn.
I've seen data dumped LinkedIn profiles before. Where everything is just
everything. So if you're entry level and you recently graduated 2 years ago, your LinkedIn would be full of your CCAs and things that are kind of not going to help you in the long run. Remove them. Please remove all reference to your secondary school. You've moved on.
But I was the school monitor, the class monitor.
Or head prefect. It's
no, I never got that high.
Please.
I mean the class monitor.
Yeah, not funny. Please remove.
I've actually seen class monitor in there, okay?
I have to.
Yeah. I've just seen that. Okay.
And then at some point, if you are 5 years into your work experience, you can start removing all of your secondary university CCAs as well. The wine club, take it out. So there are things that you need to do a serious. I know. Listen. The question is, should I send my resume to a headhunter? The answer is fix your LinkedIn profile
first. Yeah. Okay. On to the next question then. Okay. So
why are we rushing this?
No, because we've got so much other more fun questions to ask. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
So
how much time do I have to reply to an offer?
Yeah, because this question came up online. Someone posted in a note saying that
to us,
because she said, I'll let you know in 3 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time.
No. This lady received an offer. I think it's a lady. I don't know.
Okay.
Anonymous. I don't know. Again, I apologize. This person sent us a message and said they'd received an offer. It's really hard for me to use the they them pronoun because it's grammatically incorrect.
Yes.
But I shall stand down.
So
anyway, wait.
So this person.
So then they went on to say that he or she responded to say, thanks for the offer. I will respond next Friday or something. It was a 10-day gap. 10 days.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they received an offer on a Wednesday and they were thinking to respond to whether to accept it or not the following week at the end of next week. Yeah. That was the question.
And I think the answer is that it's way too long because ultimately we have a situation where if you delay too long, you're gonna arouse suspicion.
They felt the reason this person wrote to us is because they felt that they did not respond well. I think after that the company ghosted them. And that's why they wrote us the note.
So what's a reasonable period of time?
Well, it depends, right? I mean, the answer is always going to be it depends, but not. If you accept it too fast, then you look overly eager. But if you wait 2 weeks, that's just not great. So if the entire interview process took, say, 4 weeks from start to finish, from the moment you submitted your resume, a week later you got the first interview, 2 weeks later you got the second interview, 2 days after that you've got the rubber stamp interview, and then a week after that there is an offer on the table, a verbal offer.
Yeah.
And I don't know with this person whether or not it was a verbal or a written offer.
Okay.
So if it's a verbal offer, you can still have a conversation, but you cannot wait 2 weeks to respond to a verbal offer.
Yeah.
A verbal offer is something where they're expecting you to kind of, respond with a question or a negotiation or an item that you want to
I agree.
pull.
I agree.
And then there's the written offer. By the time a written offer comes out, that everything's been discussed.
Yes.
So why the delay?
Why are you holding back?
What's going on?
Wrong,
So it's kind of obvious that if you're not fallen in love with the role after 48 hours, I'll probably go talk to candidate number two.
Yes. So answer to that question, how much time do I have to respond to a written offer? The answer is probably within the next 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
Anything more than that, you run the risk of it being rescinded.
Yeah.
And questions we ask. I mean, it's quite obvious.
There's no hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
So my question is always going to be, what was the lead up to that point?
Yeah.
Because for example, okay, I had one interview with one person at a coffee shop with an investment firm.
Okay.
And then I get a call back for a second interview. Guess what? It's the same person in the same coffee shop.
Okay.
And then that's the offer right there. At interview number 2.
That's a bit fishy.
Interview number 2, and I've never been to the office. I've never met any other colleagues.
That
and,
is highly suspicious.
And here we are with an
Very
offer
suspicious.
already, and I verbally accept. Okay? And this is a real story. I verbally accept, not me, I'm just giving an example. Only to have the written offer be different than what the verbal one came out. So the verbal offer say, oh, you get $200,000 a year and 20% of every deal you transact. And then the written offer is $150,000 a year and 5% of every deal you transact for 3 months upon confirmation, and then you'll get the next 50K and then the next 10%.
Okay.
And then I'm like, hang on, now that's a cause for worry, and that's a cause for delay.
Yeah. I think
So
that's legit. That's legit.
It's legit.
Okay,
and
that's
so
legit.
and so the lead up to the verbal or and then the written, you have to manage it with a decent pacing. Otherwise, you're going to not show any love. If you don't show any love, then they're not going to ask you to join the company.
That's
I'm
true.
like, that's kind of
That's true.
given.
That's true.
So you can't. In my estimate, I think you can't buy more than 3 days.
I think so too. Anything more than 3 days,
Suspicious.
just suspicious. And HR has a right to rescind it. I mean, they can ask you what's going on, and if your answer is not satisfactory, they can rescind it.
If
and,
you're- and of
I've
course-
seen it happen before as a headhunter.
I've had clients come to me, hey, can you give me a repertoire of reasons of why I cannot accept yet? By the way, I do have a secret. I'm not going to tell you, so
Yeah.
sorry.
Come reach
because
out to us.
everyone, not because I can't share it with you, but because everyone's different and the individual circumstances are different.
Yeah.
So, but I think the furthest you can push it, give or take, because there's a weekend in between, is 5 days. But 3 working days.
Yeah, 3 working days is
Otherwise,
okay.
something's going to be a
Yeah.
little bit off.
Yeah.
Especially if it's complete silence for 72 hours, something is wrong.
For the HR managers out there or hiring managers out there who are listening, the flip side is it's also true. Okay, if the candidate does not accept the offer within 3 days, or if he says, "I'll let you know by end of the month," or in 2 weeks' time, okay, this person is waiting for another offer and your second choice.
And to the line managers
Period.
out there, and to the line managers out there as well, if you're serious about a candidate, don't ghost them for too long.
Yeah.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes you get a good candidate, but then you're caught up in something really busy. There's a fire you need to put out. You still should send a WhatsApp message or a note to
Yes.
the candidate. Say, hey, we're working out something. Hang in there.
Yeah.
We're serious about this opportunity.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Yes.
So stop playing the haggling game, guys.
And we've seen a lot of that. So okay, this is a good one. Last
Oh, are we on
question.
time? It's
yeah.
only 9.
Yeah, it's only 9. Okay, one more last question.
Really? I got
Yeah.
2 more.
2 more. They're kind of related. Okay, so
Yeah.
what if my ex-boss won't give me a good reference check?
How do you know?
Because I parted ways with him, and he and
And you peed on his desk.
I peed on his desk, and I set
I
fire
slashed
to
his
his
tire.
office.
You scratched his car.
Yeah,
On your
and
way
I-
out.
Yeah, and
You
I-
rage
and I-
quit in a.
Basically that.
That was a
it's
stupid
not-
thing to do.
And it's not just, or maybe he just doesn't like me. That's why he quit. That's why I quit. So that's the bad.
That could be your perception.
I mean, for many things, for various reasons, that it parted ways acrimoniously.
Which is so sad.
Yeah. No, which happens all the time. Okay, so.
Yeah. Try not to, because don't step on too many toes.
But you never know. You never know.
And you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Even if you think he might give you a good review, he might not.
Yeah, there are
Because if
people
you're
like
joining
that.
a competitor for a better job, he might be feeling jealous. You go, no,
Which
no.
is kind of silly.
Which happens as well.
Majority of the time, people aren't that petty, but there are people who are very petty.
Yes.
And I think if you have if you know the person to be petty and unlikely to give you a good reference, at least you can manage it. We'll share that soon.
Yeah.
What if? And again, you'll never know, because there are those people who are very sweet-tongued and very nice but
Oh.
vicious, because right behind in front they're smiling and they've got a hand out there,
Oh.
to shake your hand, but on the other hand, there's a dagger waiting
Scary.
to stab you between the shoulder blades. And there are people like that
Yes,
as well. Yeah. So what do we do, Adrian? Give us your wisdom.
As a headhunter, we get it a lot, and we actually tell our clients, be open with the hiring manager, or be open with the HR person who's doing the reference check. Say, this person, this boss, actually, I parted ways acrimoniously with him, and therefore he may not give the best, but instead here are two other people whom I worked with previously.
Okay, and
That's one way of doing it.
And I'm HR now. I'm going to tell you're being open with me that I'm the one conducting the ref check. I'm not the hiring manager. I'm HR, or I could be the headhunter. And if there's a headhunter in the middle, use the headhunter to manage the messaging.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll be HR, and
Okay.
I'll go, okay, well, I understand that. What about your previous boss, the one before that?
Yeah, that was fantastic. That's good.
Okay, that's good. What if the previous boss was also acrimonious?
Then you are a red flag. I'm not going to hire you.
So
It happened
again,
to me. It happened to me. Okay,
Yes.
it happened to me.
I know there's so many candidates who have had acrimonious relationships for three jobs in a row.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see a pattern here.
Correct. So that's why reference checks are important. Okay. So and I saw that this candidate all the way, he usually refused to give me any referees at all. And when I arm twisted him into giving me one, he did 8 years back. Okay. About 4 jobs ago. Okay. Warning signs all there already. So I said, you look, the offer's on the table, but I need at least one reference check from you. So he gave one and I only insisted on getting the ex-boss. Okay, ex-supervisor, because that's the best. I don't want your colleague or your
friend.
janitor, whoever.
Your
on
mom.
Ex-boss, okay? Mom. If the mom gives a bad review, that's not the candidate you want. So this person gave me the contact. I called him up, and this guy wasn't even in Singapore. Okay, this guy had moved on, and I tracked him down actually because he gave the contact. I lost his mobile number. I said, but okay, fine. So I tracked him down on LinkedIn, and I called the guy up, and I said, look, I'm calling for a reference check. And the guy was all the way, and he was in Belgium at the time. He said, don't hire that lying bleep bleep. I was like, okay, shucks. Okay, now that explains a lot. So, if you have a string of bad referees, okay, I think it's time to review your own career and what went wrong. Okay,
And all the blind spots, yeah.
yeah, something's not right. Okay.
There are so back to referees. If you are worried about getting a bad reference, the only way is to dilute it with others who can speak to your work. So if not all line managers have visibility on your exact tasks, because sometimes it's a dotted line, sometimes it's just for administrative purposes.
I've always wondered.
You interrupt me a
Sorry,
lot.
sorry,
Can I
sorry.
just say?
Okay, I do all the time because I got so many ideas. Okay, I've always wondered, what's stopping me from giving you a fake referee?
Nothing. And you can.
I'll pay my best friend to be
Yes.
Richard, the MD for my previous company.
Yeah, but we can spot that right away because the best friend would not have the LinkedIn and we know the hierarchy, the names of all the leaders. It's
pretend.
kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious. I mean, you can only take your lie so far. So watch out for that. But if your intent is to deceive, it's possible you could create a shell company. As in a fake company, and I've seen it happen. One, not mine, thank God, but I've heard of a case where the candidate defrauded the role. Fake references, fake
Oh, no, that's bad,
diplomas,
that's bad.
fake degrees, fake education certifications, qualifications. Was
Yeah,
all fake,
yeah.
and he also faked his references, and he got the job. But then he obviously got found out a while later. And,
Go jail, it's a jailable offense, by the way.
he
You're
got jailed.
faking-
I think he got arrested.
fraud.
He
It's
got
fraud.
he got arrested for other things.
Yeah, and then,
more
then it
serious,
turned up, right? Then the facts turned up. Yeah.
even more serious than just lying on your qualifications. But if someone sets out to deceive, it's not difficult, I guess. But
I know.
but
I've
maybe
always-
it's
I've
getting
always been
harder
very
now.
amused, yeah.
It's getting harder now because facts are easy to check, and we can do what we call background checks now.
Yeah.
So background checks are a lot more intensive and
Yes.
and than reference
Especially the
checks.
education certificates and everything.
Yeah,
They
it's
can be very
easy to
easily
find. Yeah, and your credit rating.
yeah, so far, I've always wondered now, how far anyway. Anyway, I just digress. But if you have a ex-boss that is not happy with you, okay, somehow or other, and I know for the simplest and stupidest reasons, like they feel hurt that you left them.
Some people are like that. They
and
can
then
be very petty.
Yeah, so just give your recruiter heads up. But when it comes to the topic of referees and referee management, okay, especially if you're senior enough, there are strategies involved. Come talk to us.
Yeah, you can, or you can go to my LinkedIn and read the article I wrote. I wrote it like, I don't know, 2007. The wisdom still applies. You want to prepare your references. You want to make sure you align your stories. But again, not to defraud, but to remind the person, because references they forget. We have busy lives too, and if I get called for a reference on somebody I used to work with 3 years ago, I would have forgotten all of their achievements.
Yeah.
I would have forgotten the dates, and the moment I provide something that has got that does not align to your story, it could be problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are strategies involved. Come talk to us. Okay, we'll walk you through it. And sometimes the deal falls apart at the referee stage. Okay, so come talk to us. It is
I had
important.
it doesn't take much. Your story was very interesting because the person actually said, don't hire this person. The worst reference I did was, I have nothing to say.
My mama told me if you have nothing nice to say,
I have
about
nothing to say,
someone,
and
don't
he
say
did
anything at
not.
all.
He did not say anything good, but he did not say anything bad either. But it was enough
Yeah.
for me to
Read
not
between
touch the
lines,
candidate.
Yeah. So you got to be careful. Okay, so if you are going for an interview anytime soon, and if it's a job you really want, come talk to us. The job market out there is picking up. Okay, especially in the tech sector. But the problem is that there's a lot of talent out there right now in the market because of all the retrenchments. So the competition is going to be very, very tough.
We didn't cover this question.
Okay.
The headhunter wants to contact my referee even before confirming an offer. So, at what stage should references take place? Should reference checks take place? Did I get my subject verb again? At what stage should reference checks take place?
I would say only when an offer is gonna be on the table.
Yeah, so
Some
very
people-
advanced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So some people, some HR, junior HR especially,
Can be very preemptive. They're very proactive, and they want to
impress their bosses by
just work faster and jump a couple of hoops earlier before things are ready, and they want to do the reference check before you reach
Even
the
the final
final
references.
rounds.
yeah, don't bother your referees.
No,
okay?
don't.
Just say
As a recruiter, my only reason for wanting to do pre-reference checks is because it makes my work easier down the line.
yeah.
Another reason is for me to headhunt the referee.
Oh, okay, that's true.
And sometimes if I headhunt the referee becomes a competition to you as a candidate. So again, yeah, there are so many complications out there, isn't it? I mean, I'm just saying that not only does it make my work easier, but it gives me more people to talk to
Gives an edge, yeah.
within your environment and your industry.
So as you can see, it's a whole web of variables involved, okay, especially in the interview stage. It's if you're not the sort who has been interviewing very often, or you're not a professional
Professional
job hopper.
interviewee.
job hopper, where you got to interview like every 3 months, okay, or every 6 months, and you quit your job, you probably would not know how to navigate it.
Actually, that's an interesting point. I'm going to point my finger at you now.
Tell me.
If you have not if you've not attended an interview for a long time, you should be attending interviews just regularly, just for the heck of it. I'm not saying that you're going to be job hopper, but going out there and just having these conversations sharpen your edge as well, and also gives you an idea of what's happening in the market.
Yeah.
Just attending interviews gives you a sense of what other companies are working on, potentially what they might be paying, and it gives you a very insightful updatedness about what's happening in your environment. So, I mean, it sounds a bit naughty, but yeah, even if you're happy at your job,
Just go for the
go
interviews.
attend the interviews. So don't turn down the headhunter when they say, "Hey, would you like to have a chat?" The best people to practice on are recruiters.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
practice on them. And in fact, after you finish having the conversation, ask for feedback. What do you see of any gaps, if there are? Can you share with me if you foresee a future in some trend, or can you tell me a little bit about my blind spots? You never know.
You never know.
Headhunters are very good to bounce off. Yeah, very safe for practice.
If they give you the time of day, because I know some headhunters are quite.
Quite and at some
special in
point,
that
if
way.
you develop a relationship with a recruiter, they're going to be really useful for whenever you want to
I
pick up
agree.
the phone and get some information
I
about
agree.
what's happening, who left where, who's joined what, who's
Absolutely
got appointed,
agree.
who got promoted. Headhunters know these things.
Oh, okay, correction. A good headhunter knows these
All
things.
right.
A good headhunter knows these things. So, so anyway,
Ego.
ego. So if you, oh, I can tell you fun stories.
Yeah, I know. I've heard them all
Okay, yeah, okay. She's heard them all. Okay, fun stories about
about the
how-
games we play.
how knowledge is the currency that a good headhunter uses for his
Yes.
business.
Yes.
Okay.
yes. No, his, her.
Yeah, her. His her. They them. But anyway, if you're in job search mode, come talk to us.
Yeah.
Okay, the market's rough out there. There are opportunities. So, but it's just tougher to get into those. Okay, so just come talk to us. And as always, we're always here for you. info@careeragility.org. Stay tuned to this space, because in the coming months, we're going to release something really exciting. It's going to come up your way, and it's going to change the way career coaching is going to be done.
Yeah, it's a nifty tool.
Yes, it is not even a tool.
Have a good weekend,
But
folks.
it's fun. It's a fun thing to play. Have a great weekend, and if you are going out this weekend, I understand it is a cool. It's going to be a wet weekend.
I thought it was going to hit 35.
Yeah, but it's going to be 35 and wet. So
Oh, that's horrible.
yeah.
I'm going to stay home and turn on the air conditioner.
and vegetate. Okay, have a great time, guys. Enjoy yourself. Bye.